am quite curious on seeing how this is. We do have a no Mither player, but I do get joined by Tyro. Tyro, how are you feeling today about this match? Oh, we bumped.
I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Ormond, you know, as a map is a bit different from what we're used to seeing. I'm used to seeing a lot of, Blood Lodge. So I'm very interested to see how teams manage to handle the macro play of this game. And it looks like our Billy is trying to go around and try to find some players, but they're doing a very good job of denying info. But we might have our first chase here very soon.
Oh, and it's the no Mither player too. That's gonna be kind of rough, but we do see Champion Light coming into effect on the Billy is slowed down. Oh, going all the way around. And he's just like, yeah, fuck the no Mither. I don't really blame him. But look at that Zoom boots!
Oh, goodness.
Coming in clutch. And he shakes his head like, oh, I love the flicks coming through. Because Billy is definitely one that you want to get used to flicking on no matter what. But these mouse movements are kind of crazy.
Yeah, Kego doing a very good job, kind of pathing a bit around the flicks there, not giving up a chainsaw, and the M1 actually missing, and Kego makes so much distance towards this other pallet. He's not going to get curved. It does look like the Billy just curves the other direction on the tile, and it looks like he's just going to give up the chase and go back.
I actually don't hate this because he knows where two survivors are, so he can just easily go back between the two, especially with how fast he's going to get the blue, and he's still in overdrive for now. He's going to get the double vault. That was brave. I'm always terrified to double vault because anytime I do, I get caught lacking. And man, these serves better than me. That was amazing. Good pre-drop coming through, preventing anything. But it's gonna get out of resources against Billy. You don't want to lose too many resources at the start. But they're playing this window fantastically. And this loop is honestly, this tile is so good to go against Billy in. If you're an experienced serve, it's just watching those check spots and then playing the window properly, and this Billy's just getting lost in the sauce. But Tyro, so with the add-ons for Billy, I'm kind of unfamiliar. I know he has an iridescent add-on, and I know he has another. I believe it's the boots. Was it the boots? Hold on.
Yeah, it's curved boots is what he had.
Oh, okay. What was the iridescent add-on? I forget what that does. Is that the overdrive one?
It increases your speed when you're in the chainsaw sprint. So
okay.
He's going very, very fast whenever he uses his power. And he's using that for mobility most of the time, but it also just helps you just, get those chases done much more quickly. But our survivors are doing a good job with some pretty long chases as well as some good gen pressure. The Autumn is not quite going to make that pallet, tries to flare in anticipation and does not actually get the dodge going, and that will be a down. And now we have two survivors on the hook, and Liliana is forced to try to bomb this hook, but it does not look like she's going to be able to make it, and that's going to be two survivors on hook. And yeah, if I was the Billy, I would just camp this out. This is a great position to be in. But the unhook is going to come through, but rather than go for any of the players there, our Billy goes back to that hook, trying to confirm Xander to second.
I actually don't hate this. I think this is a better play because it secures your tunnel, obviously, first and foremost. But also, he's in such a bad position. Look at where that hook is. It's dead center of the 3-gen that he wants to keep. He wants to keep this top side. And Ormond is notorious for having a 3-gen on one side or the other. We do lose Ruin. So these gens are not going to be auto-regressing anymore. We'll be forced to kick. But that's why we have Eruption in the back pocket. Now, with it, we're just going to be looking around for tethering. We want to prevent anyone. We're just going to secure our tunnel out here and get that survivor to death. But anyone come in for the rescue where they recognize this 3-gen? This 3-gen is going to be the key. If they're able to break it up, it's going to be greatly in their favor. But honestly, with how bad... Okay, guys, now I'm excited.
Yeah, Liliana's just stealthing here. Is not found quite yet. This is some ballsy stealth right here. Just going to go for it last second. The only problem is if he just looks at the hook, this strategy of waiting is not going to pay off in the slightest. Oh!
He misses!
The double!
Oh, he misses! He's forced to F1.
That was an incredible play by Prism that actually gets the tunnel out of the area. Autumn just going to be taking a hit as well, getting a lot more distance. But I think our killer is content on doing that, just getting that hook back there on the bottom side of the map.
It's going to be kind of unfortunate for Autumn though. Oh no, that was unfortunate for the killer. But with Autumn, since we just toggled over to her, we did see that she had Deli available, well unavailable because she never managed to get the rescue. So she has to be forced to get rescued. Oh, what? Oh my god. I hate some of the tiles in Orman, bro.
Oh!
Oh, okay. Bro's getting excited. The stun
Goodness.
coming through. Ooh, now playing around the pallet. He has to break this, right? Yeah, okay. I was about to say, like, if he's playing around this pallet, that's a brave Billy.
Oh! Good
The
cutoff, though.
cutoff!
Yeah, I don't think Autumn was paying too much attention to the inside of the map and just wanted to make distance towards the top side of the map. And that is going to be a kill onto Autumn.
I don't like the. Was that was okay? No, that was Liliana who was done. I was like, I don't like that the. I thought it was the no mither player who got picked up. I'm like, you guys kind of wasting time picking no mither. They could do it themselves, but it was indeed the clutch. Oh!
Goodness.
Anytime I try talking about something, it's just like, yep, another almost curve. I love to see it. I love getting interrupted by the killers. Will we be able to catch out a secret snipe? This is at 1 gen remaining. We have no which gens are going to be pressuring. Killshack is also still available. No, they broke up the 3 gen.
Yeah.
I did not catch that whatsoever. This is actually not going to be in their favor. They obviously, we just saw them working by the very far gen away from everything. But the Billy did not do a great job of protecting the 3 gen. If he would have protected that, I think this would have been like a 4K1 for sure. But now it's going to be incredibly more difficult for these survivors and incredibly more difficult, well, more difficult for the killer, to be fair. He is going to have a difficult time, but he does have Eruption in the back pocket. If he can get a quick down, that can save this game very easily. Man is zooming.
Yeah, they're using their chainsaw to get around the map just really fast, and looks like they have a straight shot to just make loops and do a little NASCAR race. But that is going to be Xander caught out here at the top side of the map. This generator has lots of progress. Xander's actually going to leave the Orman tile, and I don't know if our killer is still going to be in pursuit. Yes, our killer is right there. Can Xander tries to get a dead hard, but actually gets around the corner. It's not going to be enough, and there's going to be the M1 proccing that eruption, and that will also be another death on the board because I believe Xander was on death hook there.
Yes, he is on death hook right now. That's going to be sent back to the entity's embrace at the campfire. But they're going to pop the slash gen. This would make this at best a 4K0. And honestly, fantastic shot. Oh, red cord coming out. That's terrifying. If you're served with absolutely 0 injuries. Oh, man. Has to play this very carefully. But more likely now, this ending is a 4K0. But a fantastic job from the finesse and the light. Oh, my God. He might make some distance. But how fast Billy can catch up could be very unsafe.
Yeah, and at this point, the survivors don't really have any hope of getting out. I mean, with Kego being exposed here with no pallet, by the way, that's going to be just a free M1 down, and that will secure that 4K0.
Yep.
Into the Mori.
You know what? You gotta give the double Moris. He has Rancor available. He has that available. Yeah, might as well. I don't really blame him. I love it. I want to see more Moris. Honestly, killers, bring Devour Hope, please. For the love of God, I need to see more Moris. But we do have Tenacity on this, so maybe we can sort. Liliana has no hook states, so we can actually secure a hook bleed out, which will get less points because it denies a fresh hook for the killer, unless he's able to find. I don't like chainsaw repping when you're looking for a down survivor, but he does have an idea that they're in this area. With Tenacity, though, that's actually going to be. This is going to be kind of like a toss-up on like deciding a win con, because if they don't find where Liliana went, that's going to be a win con of if they tie 4K0 in favor of Prism.
Yeah, the fresh hook is going to be very valuable. I believe they might have seen a crow and thought that it was the survivor but cannot seem to find Liliana anywhere. Liliana doing a very good job of just stealthing out of the killer's realm of influence. And this could be, like you said, impactful in a tied set of a 4KO.
Man, my feet are on like the edge of my seat right now. I do not want to. I want Liliana to get found because I have to admit I am a Prism fanboy. I love the team. I know a lot of the members on it, so I am partial to Prism. But I will catch this as fair as I can, and I am just so excited to see if like how this is going to be in the next set as well. Because honestly, a fantastic showing coming out from C, who's doing a great job for Existence. Who's honestly I'd never heard of Existence until I guess saw them in qualifiers. They were doing a fantastic job in qualifiers as they've made it in as well. But I'm very excited to see how they're going to be turn out. And I always love seeing newer teams to comp because you never know when a newer team's going to come in. But it's always exciting to see, don't you think, Tyro?
Oh, yeah. And they are doing a pretty good job of showing their stuff here. A 4K0 is nothing to laugh at. I mean, and we saw how well Prism was playing the macro game. So very good on Existence.
And Liliana just has not moved a single area. No, the crow. Oh, this could be very bad.
Nope,
but
the bleed out does happen.
It's time.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We are here in the midst of Existence versus Prism. And this time we're going to have Snappily on the Billy playing for Prism, going up against Existence's Survivors. We do have that No Mither in play right off the bat. We see that. And almost a quick down if Tross didn't give us some Scooby-Doo antics around these trees. But it does look like our Survivor is caught out. Oh my goodness. I haven't even had time to introduce my co-caster. Demi, what do we think about this chase? Oh my goodness.
It didn't last long, but that is my boy Snappily on the Billy in the dark hero fit. And man is putting on a show right now. Unfortunately, Tross getting caught out, but that is their sprint burst. I wonder, was that the Deliverance player as well? Oh, but I really appreciate this build coming out from Snappily because it is such an underrated combo of having Ruin and Surveillance together. It gives him so much info and free reign to go through. Yeah, you're using up a lot of perk slots for it, but Billy has such great mobility that he's able to get around the map and he utilizes it as effectively as he can. And now we are just going to see that first chase lasting short is going to be an absolute detriment to Existence. Existence also, there's no Mither play coming out. Pre-dropping the pallet needs to, honestly, I don't hate the pre-drop. I understand that they need to get out of the way. But another Survivor getting caught out, Tyro. This could end very badly.
Yeah, very good cat from Snappily, going to deny the unhook. That's going to be a pallet drop and a very strong one at that. And with, I believe that's crits, in the injured form due to no Mither, that's going to be a very hard unhook to come through since that other Survivor was caught out. And if there's one thing Billy can do, it's deny unhooks.
Yeah, if you, especially with how Snappily's cutting off half the map, and it's what I wanted to see from last game. I wanted to see him cut off the map and protect his regen entirely. Now that we have the second, you just cut off this half of the map. It makes it so much more difficult. Especially with Billy's mobility, it's so overly strong, especially if he's low. I thought he was going to get him, but unfortunately, Crits being an absolute juicer managed to get around the corner in time, and now he's going to stop it. No one's moving in for this rescue whatsoever. During the time he was on rescue, they're just working sense. And are they going to let them just die?
I wonder if they're going to concede the death just because they need that gen pressure. They were only able to pop one gen for that hook stage. And so they might just go and try to get some... Oh, no, we do actually see the unhook coming through, but it's not going to be enough. Snappily is blinded, is going to get the down onto crits, but that's with the no Mither. We cannot slug this. That's going to be... Right? I'm so sorry. My eyes are shit. Ryzon in chase, but it's not going to be enough. And our tunnel out Survivor is actually caught out again. Going to be pre-dropping the pallet. A curve not going to land around this rock. Trost is doing an amazing job of just denying that saw usage, going straight into main. And Trost, again, not going to get hit by the saw. Very good pathing. Just going to make so much distance here. The saw coming through, going to be blocking off that pallet. And it looks like Snapply's doing an incredible job in this chase. We could see the down. No, the greed. The right time and the right place. Trost doing an amazing job just denying this chase. The curve not going to land. And Trost finally going to drop this pallet and get distance.
Yeah, getting it as much as he can. Now has a lot of pallets to play around. Free dropping another pallet just if the horse in the break. And we do have another pallet available. And you have to drop this immediately. That's another pallet off the map. It's going to make it... Wait.
Ooh!
Oh!
Almost with the S curve.
I thought he was going to break the pallet. What an absolute legend from Snapply. He's going to get the M1 down. And that is a death at 3 remaining generators. But they should be able to pop another gen in time. They are working on another one. Yes, another one will come through. And because Ruin Undying, he needs to put pressure on the other serves. But honestly, that could have been a misplay coming from Snapply. Realizing that slugging the no either, as you called it earlier, is you can't slug. And I understand wanting to go for your tunnel out, but sometimes the pressure that you can give off as a Billy is stronger if you just don't focus on that. And we'll see if it bites them in the end, but not a pressure coming through. Oh, we're getting more pressure. Road being gone though is really unfortunate because we don't have surveillance. Catching the corner, unable to get the flick, and we do see them like just lurking. Oh,
no, the box.
The box! If finesse coming through, is that going to be a life as well, gaining some extra distance, and now choosing to leave the area, going immediately to the pallet.
Info of surveillance actually paying off big there. That's Snapply just able to go across the map and catch the survivor off guard, knowing that they're in the area, and getting a nice curve to get it down.
Can I just say I love Billy curves? Another gen popping, and we have another one at 75 passing. Oh my gosh. This is going to be incredibly difficult. This should be oppression coming into the skill check, but the survivor managing to successfully do that. And now I like how Snapply's positioning is right. Anytime he goes for these like curves, he always takes pallet sides, which is incredibly difficult, but the crouch tech coming through. X doing a fantastic job right now, and unfortunately just catching that corner. You can't curve that too much. Too little, too late, and just taking the gen, taking some extra time, but this could be...
He realizes... Yeah, Snapply realizes that they are unable to hold this generator. It just has to go back over there, and they have to kick it. Can Snapply get a down and snowball before the Meg pops their gen? No, we do not see a gen popping.
The thing is that they're doubling that one gen. Snapply knows this. He probably saw the two sets of scratch marks coming through. Oh, not this room, bro. Not this room. This room causes me absolute pain. And
the balance.
Oh, balance. I thought that was a dread, I'm not gonna lie. I just saw it proc as soon as the last gen popped, so I was so confused. But fantastic balance coming through, using that extra distance to get around, and this could be Existence's win. This is Existence's choice of set. They were confident in Billy play, and now we are seeing why they are. A fantastic comeback coming from them. From what could have actually been kind of an irksome win con. It does kind of prove that Orman is not such a large map that it truly does it doesn't really favor Billy as much as what people like to think that it is, especially considering he's S tier killer. But a fantastic job. I'm excited to see if will we be able to get the 4K 0? I don't think so though.
No, I don't think. I think the survivors are going to be able to get out. These doors are just too progressed. And Snapply, unfortunately, is not able to get anything going with the power in order to get something snowballing here at the end game like they need.
Yeah, they know where all 3 survivors being known is really tough, but I thought I was going to at least snipe one in the exit gate. But unfortunately, they just need to take their outs, and they take the set. But I'm always excited for the next set, because as the Slinger man, always a big fan of Slinger game sets. And can I just say, it's one of my favorite sets to cast.
I'm excited for those games too. However, we have to get through this one, and right now it looks like our Meg player is going to be going straight towards the shack to get out through hatch. They did not want to risk getting found at the gate, but that is going to be 3 survivors out, and x6tence is going to take that set, and really good decisive play coming through from them.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to Champions of the Fog. I'm your host for today, Demi, and we have one of my favorite matches in all of the universe. As a Slinger main, man, I am excited anytime the big gun man comes out. But I do not have to cast this alone. I am joined by the amazing Tyro. How are you feeling today about this?
I'm pretty excited. I do like Slinger as well, especially on a map like Cepho Pit, where we get to see a lot of high level macro play. And it looks like Velociraptor is coming fresh out the gate, seeing some crows, and that's going to tip him off into some survivors' locations. And we see a chase going to start very soon. But you got to remember that Death Slinger is just very slow when it comes to that base walking speed, and that's going to be a little bit difficult when that survivor's just holding distance. We do see the chase begin, and it's going to be a shot through the window, getting an injury. We are going to see the cigar value coming through. The vault will happen, but the lithe is going to save them from Velociraptor's wrath. That is going to be a chase, and it looks like some lucky break kind of threw Velociraptor off, but a very good find and a very good shot. Going to get a very quick down for Velociraptor on Prism.
Yeah, a fantastic down coming through. I told Velociraptor before he started, listen, he has to hit 100% of his shots. If he doesn't, he's disowned. But look at that. 2 out of 2 already. Man is proving to be an absolute giga Chad. And now we do have the first hook, and choosing not to use a pain res, but I do like where this hook is. It's towards the bottom side of the map, towards the mid area. He's going to protect these bottom side gens now, and we do have this little bit of extra ability to get around this and protect ourselves from this, which I appreciate where he's trying to take these. He knows where he wants to hide his 4 gen. He wants to keep everything towards the bottom side, and I love the macro coming through from that, but will we be able to see? Will he snuff out the person in check? Yes, does indeed see the person at check. Will we get a shot through the window? No. They ran away too fast, and he was never going to hit that shot. I'm going to be real. Good job for him holding his gun. I would have panic shot 100%, trying to go for a trick shot.
Very good pre-leave coming through from Nancy, and Velociraptor is now just kind of holding in between this spot, knowing that the Nancy's here, but also wanting to protect that save. The save is actually going to come through, and that's going to be their survivor running straight towards the top side of the map, getting as much distance as possible. And it looks like Velociraptor doesn't even want to go for the tunnel. He's actually going to drop chase and go for Adam here. And that is going to be a tag and an injury. And Adam's running straight towards the bottom side of the map, which is exactly where Velociraptor wants to camp. But our Nancy, on the other hand, is going to deny that 3-gen from even existing. Very good gen pop coming through. And it looks like they might also try to take a hit, trying to deny any fast downs. That is a very good hit take. That will deny more downs, and that's just going to slow down any more progress that Velociraptor is going to get.
Yeah, it's going to slow down a lot of his progress, but it doesn't necessarily break apart the 3-gen, because that gen mid is more bottom side than anything, and good dodge coming through from X, a fantastic play. Going to be dropping, doing the pre-drop, so he's forced to break the pallet. I'm going to be watching, waiting, commiserating, and it's doing everything in the Blink-182 song. Man is holding these chat socks and not allowing Velociraptor to see anywhere that he's going, but now he is going to be caught out here. This is going to be this is actually a really good loop for Slinger. Oh, missing the shot. Now he's 2 out of 4, 50%. Unfortunately, out of the family. I'm sorry, Velociraptor. Have to do it to you. Man, just using that to zone out and get the down. That is one of Slinger's strongest abilities. It's just using his gun to zone everything out. And I love how they're doubling that middle gen. I called this last match, but x6tence doing these double gens is so good because they're getting rid of the most dangerous gens of them all. And Painres finally coming through, Tyro.
Yeah, that is going to deny that gen over there at the 3 side of the map. Meanwhile, like you said, they were working that middle generator, but it looks like they're going to get pressured off of it. And this is a very good hook spot. And like you said, the 3-gen's not completely gone. We do have 2 more gens down there at the bottom and that middle gen. But it looks like our survivors are trying to pressure it, and that's going to lead to a tag without even having to use the power. But that opens up the unhook, and now the chase will not commence. It looks like Velociraptor is not trying to go for a tunnel out here, but is instead trying to just pressure generators over and over to deny them from popping. And that's going to give the survivors a little bit of wiggle room to maybe get a reset.
Yeah, if I were them, I'd reset towards Shack's side, and Velociraptor knows this. That's why he's heading straight there. Because what yep, so that's where they are, right on the backside of Shack. And Velociraptor is going to be over here shortly. Probably going to catch their scratch mark short. Oh no, they're not running. Might miss them. But once again, back on these gens. Velociraptor's in chase towards Shack. It's going to be incredibly difficult. This is one of the worst places to loop. If you're a Slinger man, missing the
Goodness.
shot. Dude, the anticipation is so crazy for Slinger shots. But unfortunately, now has to leave that chase. And the only one that he could really take time to chase is Trost right now. And that's because he wants to quick down and loses a gen right there. Waiting for it, lining it up, unfortunately missing it. The survivor juking out of the way, realizing they were next to a wall, and not another 2. Oh, this is rough. This is
Yeah,
going to be really tough.
Velociraptor a little bit too ambitious with these shots. That one is going to land, leading to an injury. We're not going to see the cigar value, though. Instead, that's just going to be a clean hit. And now Jake is just going to be taking their distance towards the top side of the map, away from those generators. I spoke too soon. They're actually just running down here towards the edge map. A little bit close, too close for comfort next to that 3-gen, but it looks like they might not care because they are just slamming out these bottom side generators.
Yeah, they know they only need to pop 1 generator, and they're working 2 different gens, both with very high progress. However, this is also someone who's already hasn't been previously pain res, calling it out, successfully dodging it, and now he's gonna focus on that mid gen more than likely. This could be an incredibly intelligent play coming through from them. If he focused on that mid gen and Toledo shows herself, and Crits just kind of like shows where he's at, he could get it some. Oh no, unfortunately, chooses not to show themselves, playing it safe. And now just looking around the pain res gen, looking and seeing if he can spot out Adam. Ooh!
A little bit low on the shot, not quite going to land it. Velociraptor going to choose to go back to that hook, trying to deny an unhook. But these generators are very progressed, and it looks like Velociraptor's also not comfortable just leaving the survivor over there, trying to bait something out with the M2, but it's not quite enough. We do see 2 survivors here. They're going to be going for a double, but it winds up being a trade. That's going to be Trost on the ground, proccing that eruption even, which is going to be great news for Velociraptor. It stops that generator from popping, and that's also going to be a pain res on that generator as well, which means that Velociraptor's concerns are alleviated. An injury as well, which means that they can't even go for a double save. The shot not going to land, but they are forced towards the top side, leaving only 1 healthy player on the map, and Velociraptor knows exactly where they are.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly difficult right now for Velociraptor, but it's swinging in his favor right now. He's taking the time to slow down the game entirely. If he could get this 1 injury onto X, it's going to be incredibly difficult for them. They're going to have to take time to reset, and that's going to cost Trost to go to second stage. We do see a reset coming through onto Crits. More than likely, we'll see a reset coming through onto Ryoxin. I don't know if Crits had a med kit to reset himself, but I feel like more than likely at that point, you're just probably resetting with 2 survivors, aiming the shot, zoning out, and this is what Slinger does best, is the absolute zoning for the fear of getting shot instead. And now he's going to be taking this away, but nearby where the hook is, unfortunately missing the shot, and that's going to give X even more time to loop and get to the top side of the map for a reset. But unfortunately, the unhook comes through, and now X is kind of caught out in a bad spot, but he's on the exact side of the map that he wants to take his chase. And now Velociraptor is trying to grab him. Eruption procs, and that's just causing these gens to get more and more, just losing all the progress they put on. And this gen was at 99. Now it's back towards 50, and they're working on it again. This is but I wonder how many kicks are left on that gen now, Tyro.
It has to be nearing regression limit. One thing to note though about Trost is that they have been injured for a long time, like the majority of this game. So they're kind of out of commission until that happens because this 3 gen is just so volatile. Which we saw Trost earlier stealthing towards the top. I stand corrected. They actually just sent Trost in for the unhook while Velociraptor wasn't paying attention. That's actually going to be a down though. I'm not sure if I like that play.
I'm okay with it because you can't. The only person that you really send in that scenario, I think, is Ryoxin. But he was stealthing across the opposite side of the map to work this gen, which I think suits more, especially considering he has deja vu. So Trostle's really the only one, because otherwise you give over a pain res to crits, and you don't want to give over a pain res. And yeah, Trost is injured, but he's forced to leave these hooks constantly. So you get free unhooks to go towards the top side of the map. And if it's X who did the unhook, they could just make it to the top side and get reset for free, even though, like, yeah, you get over a hook state, but it could end up being a 4-man out because of it. Oh, oh my
Goodness.
god, that was so close. I want to see it. I want to see one of those shots hit. I love Velociraptor for going for those exciting shots. I'm not gonna lie, Tyro.
Yeah, Slinger games can be a little bit zony for my taste, but Velociraptor's going for some ambitious stuff. Unfortunately for him, though, it's not exactly paying off, as not many of these are landing, and that's going to get Ryoxin quite a bit of distance towards the top side of the map. And now with a full reset, it's going to be back into the survivors side for creating tempo, and they already have this generator very progressed and almost regression block if it's not already, as well as just a lot of progress on that other side of the map as well.
That has to be like one of the last kicks. Like if he gets it down, it for sure can regress like one more time, and then it's just like there's no more kicks left. That has to be the max. Ooh, getting caught up though. Could end up taking the M1 here. Has to take it towards top side. They have a safe haven, but Velociraptor can't chase. He's forced to off these gens because he can't afford it. He knows if he gives up the eruption, he has to catch them in a bad area, and they can't let them get to topside. And now he can't even like force these kicks anymore. We are going to see Thalita, Chris taking this chase. Chris has done a fantastic job. We are going to see the flashlight blind right after it. The shot coming through the blind, but unfortunately missing because it is incredibly difficult to hit those shots. It's missing the second one. Unfortunate. And it's only a matter of time before we see a gen proc, and this is going to be incredibly difficult with only 2 hooks. He needs to secure his death, but that's what we have in the back pocket, is we have Noed at some point. So it will give us a little bit extra speed to catch up to normal level killer, and then if we can get crits out of the way, it'll be a lot better, and we just see that immediate speed up, and we also find out, ooh, where's Adam going? Trying to body block, and it's going to be an immediate down. If we can get the shot off onto...
That was a good stun.
If we get the hit on onto Crits, Crits knows that he's a fresh hook, and he's the only one who can't really let anything happen. We see the gates open, we see Crits get shot, and he is down at the window. Velociraptor would like a side of fries with that.
Yeah, it looks like that Velociraptor wants even more, though, is going back to get that slugged X, who is on Death Hook, does not catch the survivor who's there trying to reset them. However, we are going to see a potential save attempt. It looks like they do not want to give up that fresh hook, and this is going to buy a little bit of time, actually, for the pickup if Ryoxin is able to come here. An amazing play. The locker grab is going to be...
No, it's not.
But the teammate is across the map. That is so unfortunate. If they were able to just pick them up off of that locker grab, that would have been huge. But instead, now we have another death. And it looks like the fresh hook's going to happen anyway. And Ryoxin is not going to be able to get that unhook by himself.
Listen, I actually think that was a misplay. I think you take your 2, like, yeah, you give up the fresh hook. Yeah, he has all 4 freshes. But then it's only like, at the most, it ends up being a 2k like 7, 2k 8. And that's about average. Now it's a 2k, like a 3k with only like, I believe Ryoxin had only 1 hook state, so you still escape it. But now this makes it so much more incredibly difficult, especially with Noed in play. Once you realize Noed, I don't think you go back in for the fresh. I think that's incredibly dangerous, especially considering he can hook so easily, and the pit was so far away. But I digress. I appreciate that I'm going back in, and I'm super excited for this next matchup coming between with Prism Survivors. This is their set that they like to pick, and now they have a really good win con, Tyro.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Champions of the Fog. We are here in the middle of x6tence versus Prism. And last game, we saw Velociraptor give a pretty good performance on the Slinger. And now we're going to see if x6tence's killer can get a good result back up against Prism Survivors. Demi, what are we thinking about what X needs to do here?
Well, first thing, they need to like shake off that sell that they did earlier, because like them getting 3K10 towards the end is such a big detriment for any team, because Killer, like Slinger, I love him to death. He's a 2K2. 2K2 doesn't even exist on one guy. He's a 2K8 killer. I apologize, guys. It's because I fixed my mic. Now my brain's broken. I have to switch at some point. Something has to be broken. But we are. The peephole shot. I was so excited for it. I love that he's going for these. This actually it actually makes me kind of excited, because that might mean that he knows all the shots for Slinger. We'll be able to get the shot in, but it's going to be through a window. Might be able to pull up. No, unfortunately,
nice.
The M1. But
good DI from Kego there.
We'll be able to get, a good dodge as well. We'll be able to get the thing. And the first gen pops. That was so quickly. That had to be a double gen. And we're going for more cigar box value. Breaking it off before we can actually get it, though.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. X is so aggressive, and I love this. But man, Kegu is going insane right now. But he's kind of zoned off. He will try to make it towards the pallet. Has a tree to play around. Dodges the shot. Oh my god. This is too much for me, Tyro.
Yeah, Kego's doing an amazing job just prolonging this chase for so long. X not able to get that down, and Kego has made it from one side of the map to the other. And X is actually considering leaving the chase, but is instead going to be going back towards Kego around the shack. Can Kego buy even more time? We'll have to see. Pools of blood draining from Kego's body, and not aiming for the flare, just going straight down the middle. That is going to be Kego's demise. That will be a down.
But that is also for one gen popping, and probably high progress on 2 other gens. I feel like they had to have doubled that first gen with how fast it managed to pop, because yep, we were saying this is going to be a basement hook, which is incredibly difficult to rescue against versus Slinger. That guarantees that there's no pain res being used, though. And he doesn't seem to think there's a lot of progress in other gens, which normally I don't really agree with, especially how long that first chase took. And we do see Aura of a Server in the distance, but shooting at nothing. I mean, shooting at a Survivor, but the Survivor is far enough away that there was no way it was going to connect. I love Slinger, but only one thing I could give Slinger, infinite shot across the map.
Ooh. A very good shot onto Liliana, and a good zone as well. Going to be using that cigar in order to make sure that Liliana does not make anything. Liliana will, though, make that pallet. Very good pathing. And X is actually too scared to commit to that. Sees the scratch marks, and that's going to be a save onto Kego. But it looks like X wants to try to get that tunnel out. But Kego going to be making so much distance. But the shot coming through, and the body block attempt from Xander. It's not going to be enough. That's going to be a down onto Kego in the basement. Xander forced to drop the pallet, and Xander running for his life across the map. And that will be a pickup. We are not going to see a flashlight save. And very well played so far from X.
Yeah, what they need to do is it needs to be Nancy going for the Autumn going for the next one. Because then she can FTP in basement if she gets like the opportunity to. But getting cut out right there is very bad for Autumn. Managing to dodge the shot though, going towards the top side of the map, Kagu's not gonna leave this hook. This is his death, and we're just like, unfortunately for Kagu, he's just living in a world where he's gonna stay on hook for quite a long time, and more than likely gonna die there in the basement. The final hook more likely is going to be on the top. I didn't see if there's a pain res nearby on the bottom side. If he has bad pain res RNG, it could make the difference for this game. But if they pop that middle gen, that 3-gen is destroyed. They're just going to open up this map, and it's all just for Kegu's kind of death. And honestly, I think that's worthwhile, but you definitely need to send Autumn to go in for the rescue. And did he see that head poke out through the window? Yes, he did. I think he saw. But he's looking around trying to see. And it is indeed Autumn.
He's still kind of being
He's trying to
careful about
secure.
a survivor.
And she goes
But
in
the
for the
sprint burst, that's actually going to be the pull, not going to be denying it. And since Autumn's on the hook right now, Kego kind of has free reign to get out of there.
And she
He
can body
cannot
block.
reload. And yes, the body block's going to come through from Autumn. Autumn's going to be getting out of there. A very good shot, but the pallet trap is going to deny the down. X unable to get it. And that's going to leave Kego over there towards the 9 side around this Ormond tile. That is going to be a pallet break. Kego's in the wrong spot. That's going to be a down.
What a great shot. But honestly, fantastic response coming from Kego. That's another gen pop that is going to be a death right now. But it's going to be incredibly difficult. Pain Res is going to hit the main gen. If he manages to get it off in time, I did not see the RNG for Pain Res. No! Doesn't he even get off Pain Res! He's losing so much. Kegu denying Pain Res value. The RNG was not in the favor of X. And now we do see main gen popping. There's 1 gen left. We saw it was at 50%. This game is now up in the air. Incredibly fantastic performance coming through from X, landing some fantastic shots, and now it's kind of just a toss-up. His 3-gen is destroyed, and there's absolutely nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, X forced to just try to walk the line through these middle generators, looking for the survivors that were in the area. Does find the injured Autumn, though, in the corner. But the head-on from Xander going to deny the down and get a lot of distance towards the top side of the map. Xander now in trouble, though. The shot is going to miss due to Xander's serpentine pattern dodging. And now we're going to see both survivors escape X's clutches for now, but it's not going to be enough. X is still in the area, finds Autumn. Going to be trying to get the down. Does land an insane shot from downtown. And that's going to be a down. And this could spell trouble for the survivors. We have 1 gen remaining. And even though the gen spread is good, this could be difficult to come back from now that a survivor is on the hook and a tunnel out has been achieved. That is the main difference between this game and last game.
But still 0 pain reses. They now know that he doesn't have a single pain res on the bottom side of the map. And they could just get this rescue for free and stealth off this. They're already coming out. They're going for rescue. They can get reset. He needs to chase the survivor up here. He needs to chase the survivor up here. They need to double this gen. And so much progress, but this is an injured survivor, Liliana, and she's going down. And now this could be a pain res, which could cause the loss of a game. If Zach's doing a fantastic job of a macro right now. They need to pop this ASAP.
A double.
And it's so close, but I don't think they get it. They're going to get pain rest in time. Will they? Will they not? Yes, they get pain rest. And that just turns the
Pain
entire
res might not be enough, though. They're still doubling it out. They're trying to get all the gens popped.
They know they only need Xander to pop the gen and leave. Or they could get any of the survivors out. But Xander's the only one who guarantees win con. Already going for the gate, prepping the gate, but leaving Xander on the hook, I think. Pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it. And we also have an address coming through from Autumn. But that means now that they're playing around this, we do have Noed due to the haste effect in the right side.
They know that they just need one out, and Autumn pre-left in order to get right on that door. And Xander is not going to go down. That is going to be huge for Prism. Xander has to run away from that door. Autumn is on it right now trying to get out.
He's leaving. He's leaving the chase. He can't afford it. Oh, he lost him. What? Is that lucky break on Xander?
I'm not exactly sure. However, that is going to be Autumn getting that unhook on Liliana, and they're trying to make a play for it. Honestly, they want these outs. They want these stages.
They have a prep door already. And these doors are so far apart. The only one they need to get out is Xander. Autumn getting caught out. Now just missing the shot. Autumn can make it to the door in time before this reload comes through. No, unfortunately not. Going to be vaulting the window. And now looking around, seeing if we can catch out Autumn. We see Xander on the door. And unfortunately, oh no! Autumn hitting onto the locker. Oh, it's falling apart for X. But now we're pulling Autumn out of the locker. And they're going to make it out. Xander can't escape, but he's trying to hook him towards the mid-map. I love this hook from coming through from X. The door is open. They need to sacrifice. No, come in for the body block. Please come in for the body block. Block him. Yes! Prism's going to the tiebreaker.
Xander's going to get out.
They're going to the tiebreaker.
Amazing play from Prism survivors. It looked dire there, but their macro play came through in the end. That gen spread was immaculate. Fantastic play.
Yeah, honestly, fantastic overall. And taking nothing away from X. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the tiebreaker set. We have Artist on Wretched Shop of, honestly, what could be one of the best setups of the night. And I'm super excited for this. But I am not alone. I am joined by the fantastic Tyro. What are you thinking of these sets so far? Like, I've been mind-boggled.
Yeah, it's been very interesting picks. And Artist is one of my favorite sets. I used to play it all the time when I was on PSR. And X does have his work cut out for him here. Does actually find Xander, though, with the crows. And that could potentially turn into a fast down if he gets the chase going. But does not look like Xander's going to be injured by that at all. And X is kind of confused. Just kind of looking around, but that is going to be a chase starting onto Xander around the dumpster, blocking off the dumpster with the bird, and then blocking off the Z wall, and actually getting the injure with the power. And that's going to be Xander around the Z wall going down very quickly, and that is an incredible start to the match for X.
Oh, yeah, definitely what you want to be seeing in this last second. Sending out some birds, trying to get some more info. Unfortunately, these survivors know better. And is that Thrilling Tremors I saw pop up? Yes, it is indeed. We do have Thrilling Tremors in the mix. It's giving Xander a lot of info, more so than what we expect. You're able to send these birds towards gens that are gaining progress, and survivors don't hop off them in time. Can get a little bit more. Now immediately going to be sending things off. Unfortunately, all the survivors hopped off immediately. We'll be sending birds towards where Autumn is, but missing quite necessarily. And one of the big things for artists that you want to be doing as a survivor is A, trying to break off the birds and break line of sight. But also B, oh, that was nasty. The swing through the pallet. Like, yes, sir, I'll have some more. But as I was saying, one of the main things is crouching properly to deny any information being given via the killer instinct from being almost hit by a crow, which I'm sure we will see at some point. But we are going to be taking chase onto Xander. Now just trying to line up a bird, get the bird up and around the corner. But this isn't down. He has nothing to work with here. Xander's going to get out followed right here. No, not into the basement. No.
Yeah, you do not want to give an artist the basement. That is going to be incredibly difficult to come back from. That is a block generator with that merciless storm that we see. That's very interesting.
This build is interesting.
It's working out so far, though. I do kind of like the Thrilling Tremors pick because it is kind of like a pseudo barbecue in a way. And that can make landing some crows very easy for Artist. Mm-hmm. If you know where the survivors are, you just have to send a crow that general direction. And look, right there. I mean, he knew that Liliana was on that gen thanks to that thrilling. Now he's just going to continuously send birds that direction in order to try to get an injury or get them off that generator.
It's also, he doesn't really have to do too much. This is one of Artist's greatest strength, and it's why I didn't agree with running towards basement for Xander. Well, Xander had a fantastic chase last time, he managing to escape. Now he's going to end up dead because of this. And Artist thrives in this environment. What you want to do is have someone in basement and just pepper birds across the map, scare survivors where they can't do anything. And what are they going to do? They're just going to end up taking a bird to the face. And that is
awesome. Oh, no.
This
no!
is not looking good for Prism. A down in the basement with Xander on the basement hook. And then we see Autumn caught out here, but X is not even going to go for Autumn. X knows that Autumn is not currently working on a gen by standing here. That's going to be the death onto Xander. And now, look at that. Liliana forced off the generator as well to shed the birds. The hook's going to come through onto Snapply.
And Thrilling's doing so much for for X right now. Like, absolutely, being able to block off those gens just for those couple of seconds before you send those birds out is insane. Like, look, now he has time to get back up from basement, send out the birds, and just pressure them off the gen again. This is so ridiculous. What an absolute legend coming up with this build. And now landing birds on Liliana. Yes, she has a locker nearby, but this is precious seconds getting taken off. And Xander, like, X knows this. Like, the basement, the double basement, like, it really does hurts seeing them having gone down before getting the rescue. If Snapply was able to get that rescue in time, it'd be a different story.
Hold on. I believe that what we saw was Liliana got forced off the generator with the birds, proccing the Merciless Storm, and then acting kind of like a pseudo DMS there too.
Mm-hmm. That's why I really appreciate like this combination of perks. Like, this combination is so disgusting. Unfortunately, won't happen more than once. And unfortunately for Merciless Storm, it doesn't last that long, but we'll force them off the gen. And if they're lucky, you could also hit those random 7%. That's what they call it. What called by behavior. Is it 7%? No. We all know that's a lie, because anytime I hop up a gen, I get a skill check. But I digress.
I actually heard that they redid the math and now it's a 10%.
Jesus Christ. Now it's even worse for me. I'm crying in the club.
It makes sense. Like, for me, it might as well be a 87%.
I swear. But it's going to be setting up more birds. Yes, they just have to work gens here. If they can pop at least one more gen, honestly, that's not a bad win con. Especially if we're able to get those chases towards that. But with this build's kind of nasty. It just lockers nearby. The others working main with lockers nearby. And unfortunately, Snapply only has like maybe like 20 more seconds before he's dead. And it's just going to be coming in, pressuring, giving away some info. I believe that was close enough that they probably gave away Killer Instinct.
Yeah, that was definitely Killer Instinct range. I do think that at this point we are going to probably end up seeing a 4K1 result. Now X is free to roam the lands since Snapply is no longer alive. That's going to be a tag onto Autumn, and Autumn's not really in a good position to do anything here. But on the same hand, X kind of wants more than just the 4K1. X is going to be pressuring Lily and then probably coming back to pressure Autumn, who's now injured, in order to maybe get a better result even. And that's going to be a tag onto Lily.
Oh my god.
Lily not looking at the birds, going to result in a tag, and that is going to push Autumn off the gen even further. And we're actually going to see a 4K2 here, I believe.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a 4K2. Has to run through the bird and take them up, but unfortunately getting caught out underneath the pallet. Liliana's only at 50% on the gen. There's no way she's completing this in time, especially now if there's a pickup. Checking the gen with a higher amount of progress, but knows that Liliana's at main because these are the only two gens that they were working this entire time. An absolute fantastic plays coming through from X. Knowing what he needs to do and setting 4K2 as the win con is absolutely going to make him ecstatic, especially with both the injuries he now has. Wait, what? Is he unable to hook right now?
No, he wants to bait out as much of the time of Thrilling Tremors as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Trying to get as much, sending out all the birds in every area, and not getting any Killer Instinct, unfortunately, on the Liliana. But Liliana is injured, and she's clawed. Incredibly going to be difficult to come back from that. She kind of has to play towards Hatch, but issue is, if she's by main side, Hatch is not going to really be an option, and that's a whole 60 seconds. She needs to complete the main generator and, like, be able to get called out on whenever those birds are coming at her. But X, knowing that, kind of, like, try to avoid light of sight from Autumn. Now looking to take chase into towards main, checking main area, but unfortunately not seeing anything through the panels. I wonder where Liliana's like. I wonder if it's going to be attempted a rat play and escape via the hatch, or if it's going to be a gen play. That's really the toss up, like on deciding. And this is going to be require the IGLs like where they will come in clutch right here. Is if they call out to work the gen, or if they call out for a hatch play.
And right now, it looks like X is actually patrolling more closely towards the hatch, just trying to get info with that killer instinct.
Autumn now going second, so that's going to allow a little bit less time. Now she can miss her skill checks and allow the hatch to spawn a little bit faster. But X knows this, immediately going towards the gate. And, oh no!
Oh no.
Oh!
That is not what you want to happen. If you are on Prism, that is going to be Liliana found with a random bird. And now X is actually not going to take the chase. I think X is a little concerned that Liliana might path towards hatch, but calls it out extremely well. It is going to get that down, and that will be the 4K2 result.
What an incredible showing from X. Like, honestly, a couple misplays coming through from Prism. Like Snapply, especially with Autumn in the area, should have like should have gone for a double save. That was a miscommunication on their part. But X jumping on that and setting a fantastic win con. Going to be incredibly difficult for Prism survivors to bounce back from that. But I've seen them do it before, and I'm sure we'll see them do it again. So very excited for the next one.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the final game of the night, the last in the tiebreaker. And Kego has his work cut out for him because the survivors of x6tence are going to try to see if they can get a result better than a 4K2, which x6tence's killer was able to get last round. And right now, with this chase, it could end up being a pretty similar result. What do you think, Demi?
Honestly, I'm kind of excited for this. Like, I said this starting at like a lot of the staff chats I was in. Existence's name irks me to my soul. It reminds me of the 2008 text speak. But man, have they really been kind of like I've been getting on their side. I'm not gonna lie. After how they've been performing, I'm very excited to see how it. But ooh, we see them doubling gens. This is something that I've noticed them doing quite frequently that I really like them doing, but I don't really agree with it versus an artist set, because you're just going to give over, if one person gets birds over, it's just going to give severed hands over to the other, and now he could just pressure him off this gen. We do see Corrupt in the area as well being used, and now just forcing him away, but I don't know how I feel about them leaving the trust at Shack after dropping Shack pallet.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kego's not going to have a down for quite a bit of time, and they could even reset Trost at this point. But that is going to be a chase onto, I believe that was Jake. And in this tile, that is not going to be an injury. Very well played from Jake so far. Oh, that's actually Vittorio. Yeah, that's Crits. Crits is going to get hit, though, with a very well-placed bird from Kego. And now Kego's blocking off the resources.
Oh, but he just holds W. And they're back on the main gen. He needs to get this down like ASAP. But the issue is, we do have Eruption applied to that gen. We need to get this down soon. We cannot joke around or anything. We have to get it ASAP. Oh, no. And now we have to cut him off with the pallet, but that's going to give them a tough time for the gen to pop. And now that eruption value that we tried dropping to chase on Trostor is just non-existent. This is just going to have to be paid res, and they are looking for it. Throwing into the locker to get pulled out. Honestly, I was low-key expecting like someone to come out with like a beamer from the side. And this is how you know I've been playing too many pubs, is that I've had a couple of friends do that for me. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Waiting for the pain res, but ooh, they're realizing that they have a little bit of time. We'll be able to take it in time, but this progress in gens is gonna, that win cod's gonna be so tough because he's got to see both the gens pop back to back. Oh.
Yeah, they are very close to tying up the set, and Kego only has one hook on the board. Just a very good chases from both the survivors so far.
And now look, it looks like Trost is here to pressure this gen even further, trying to get them the attention away from that unhook, just to give up even more pressure on Kego's side. There's the unhook going to come through, but that severed hands is going to leave both survivors infected with birds. And it looks like Kego's actually going to play for freshes. I think Kego realizes that he needs something with the pain reses and is actually going to go for a fresh hook. That is going to be that other gen popping, though, leaving us with 2 gens remaining and then a tag. It's looking a little bit rocky for Kego.
Yeah, it's going to be... It was already an incredibly difficult win cut. Oh! The head-on coming through! It's a firecracker! Oh my god. Kegu is just getting absolutely bullied. But this is a tile artist plays well through because she can send her birds through the hill. The hill is not a different to artist birds whatsoever. This one makes her so much dangerous. But unfortunately, we'll be able to get off those birds with Rexen. Or Rexen? Rexen. I'm going to say Rexen. If I said it wrong, please correct me later on and yell at me. But we'll get it right for the future cast. But for right now, that's all I know. But doing a fantastic job. This is incredibly difficult right now. We have Fun Bus, but that's a down! And that's another fresh going through. Needs the pain reses, but honestly, it's just... This is a stunt. Stepping the bleeding.
My.
Oh, wait. Hold up. He can spread out these injuries.
Yes, but at the same time, if they're slamming out a gen across the map, this pallet save is going to buy so much time. Kego actually going to go for the pickup. Does not get the down, but that is going to be that last gen popping. They did deny the pain res for long enough, and that's actually going to win the match.
Yep, that's going to give it over. Needed to pick up a little bit sooner, but them just playing that bus fantastically, pressuring the gen nearby, letting them know 2 survivors are in this area, and forcing Kegu to make decisions. It's what you want to see out of survivors, because the more decisions the killer has to make, the worse off they're going to play, because it does affect their playstyles later on. Existence doing a fantastic job of showing this, and honestly, these last couple of matches, before I didn't really know about them. I'm turning into a fan, Tyro, man.
Yeah, they're playing extremely well. I mean, you can just see the coordination, and they get their win cons. I mean, that's all you can really say. I mean, that was some solid gameplay right there, getting their needed win con. And I really like the play that they did in setting up for that pallet save. I mean, that bought so much time.
I know you said trying to get their win cons, but I'm going to throw out that Slinger game as like a prime example of them not trying to get their win cons. But that's besides the point. We allow, this is B-Leagues, we allow hiccups here and there, and it's what makes it so exciting. It's why I love casting these matches, and it's probably some of my favorite types. And we are going to be back on Rikes and going for the Stone Cold Stun coming through, setting up the bird on the pallet, forcing him around. Oh, dodging it just
Oh my goodness.
Rikes juicing right now, proving that his life may be on the line. Missing an F1. What is going on? Huh? Kegu is suffering right now, and he's in pain. That's how it feels.
Kego's getting a little lost in the sauce. That's going to be a play. Rikes still not getting down by the birds. And then a hit tank actually coming through. Meanwhile, we see Trost just laboring away on those generators. And Rikesen is able to make it to yet another faraway section of the map with a pallet dropped right here, which is going to buy so much time. Kego trying to trap it, but the movement from Rikesen and the fake on the pallet going to buy so much time. Rikesen doing super well, baiting out the bird yet again. Kego playing a little bit too impatient, going to be making that vault. The bird is going to hit this time, though.
Man, can I just say, Rikesen was juicing my fan. And it's not to take nothing away from Kegu. He was panicking for most of that. And I understand why. That's a lost set at that moment in time, and it's incredibly difficult. But because of the fact that it was a lost set, these survivors now have the absolute, most, confidence, and they're showing it in their looping. Now they can do no wrong. They have nothing that they need to be afraid of anymore. And honestly, they could leave and make this a 1K 3 or 1K 4 and be fine with that. But Okay, I'll shut
Fritz
my
is
mouth.
getting
You know what?
sniped.
I'm just not gonna say anything anymore. I'm tired, bro. Okay, thank you for the snipe. That's what I wanted. I wanted one snipe, and you gave it to me. Thank you, my goat.
That is going to be one of the doors opened, and are they going for a save? It looks like they're trying to bait in a save.
I think they're trying to bait out all the birds right now because he only has one more bird. After he uses it, have to send them out, and we'll give him a little bit more time. Now they don't have to worry about the power. 2 people in here for the unhook. Gonna get it in time. Doors open nearby, and honestly, can't kind of like go for it. You have to go for something more exciting, and unfortunately missing the birds. Oh, will body block come through? Oh, going for crits. Crits is kind of a fresh looking, staring, watching, waiting, commiserating, nodding. Yes, sir.
Is
The whole
not going
9
to give
yards.
the flashlight save. Kego is going to get that pickup and start dragging crits even further into the map.
This is why I love Agi. Look how far he was able to get away from that hook, man. That's insane. Agi's such a good perk. Oh! Yes. Hit him. Do it. Do it.
They're
Resetting.
still resetting, yeah.
Honestly, I don't
They
hate
really
this.
want the save. I mean,
Listen.
it's good practice.
Exactly. They already know they've achieved their win con. And honestly, I don't hate for survivors getting out. I love it. But will Kegu allow for this to happen? I don't think Kegu's like inexperienced enough to let this happen. Prism has been around the block a little too much. We see all 3 survivors here for rescues. And now we got to spread out these tags. Looking around for crits, but crits is going straight towards the shack. And shack door is open right now. Ooh, catching someone up, but he makes it out. It has to run away from the birds. And oh no!
Oh,
Oh no!
C was still here.
But the body block coming through from Choss is OP. Knowing artists can't make it around, but C still zoned away from this. And are they gonna die to EGC? I'm gonna cry if they actually died to endgame collapse. I'm not gonna lie. Not the nodders. Oh. He's waiting
They're
for it.
having
He
a
wants
fun
the
time.
Mori. And he's coming back in.
I don't think Crits wants to give it to him.
My hero.
Does Crits think he could get a flashlight save?
I think Chris is just gonna accept the dying to EGC. Kegu knows you're there, Chris. I'm gonna be honest. I respect the attempts here, but I want to see the Mori. I'm not gonna lie. Give me the Mori.
No Mori there. Instead, they're both just gonna die to endgame collapse.
The big up. Man, I wanted to see the Mori. I know I'm partial to Moris, but I don't hate the EGC. In fact, at some points, you truly appreciate the EGC. But regardless of anything that happened, this was an absolute showing put out from both these teams, and man, oh man, am I blown away.